Silent here. So David Clark, a sheriff, got on CNN not too long ago to talk about Black Lives Matter. And of course, I believe his name is Don Clark, this other asshole, had to regressively avoid and red herring and distract from basically every single major point he made. And honestly, he got made look like a fool on his own program. And I want to point this out before we continue. Both of these men are black. There's no way anyone can sit here and say, oh, they can't say anything because they're white, they don't have these experiences. Both of these men are black. And what is hilarious is that one of them wants to talk about real issues and the other does not. And that is what regressive thinking does. Is it takes people from caring about real issues in their community to bullshit like Black Lives Matter. Let's watch.
Our breaking news tonight, 3 officers dead, 3 wounded in Baton Rouge. A really tough day for Baton Rouge and for the country, really. Here to talk about how to keep our police safe is Sheriff David Clark of Milwaukee County, Wisconsin. He is going to be speaking at the Republican convention tomorrow night. Sheriff, thank you very much for that horrific day. I spoke to the heads of the sheriff department, the police department, and the state police down there, and they told us how their hearts were reeling. Their message is peace and coming together in the country. What's your message?
You don't believe that for 1 minute, do you?
That their message is?
Yeah.
Now just watch. Sheriff Clark comes out with this immediate question. You don't believe that, do you? And what he's really saying is, this isn't what Black Lives Matter actually stands for. It's a complete lie. They are not peaceful. And he phrases it in a very interesting way. You don't believe that, do you? Because what he's really trying to get Don Clark to do is admit that this is bullshit, that this is not true. And just watch the response. It's hilarious.
That's what they said to me.
Okay.
Yeah, believe them. Of
Any
course I believe them
protests
when they say
over the
that.
deaths of these cops today in Baton Rouge?
I don't know that. I don't know that.
Any riots or protests over the police officers in Dallas, Texas?
What are you asking?
It's a pretty simple question.
I asked you if what's your message to the people. Their message is one of peace. What is your message?
My message has been clear from day one 2 years ago. This anti-cop sentiment from this hateful ideology called Black Lives Matter has fueled this rage against the American police officer. I predicted this 2 years ago. So what I want to know,
okay, Sheriff.
do I want to know?
Sheriff, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Don't let them know. Shut the fuck up. That's basically what he's saying right here. And I want to really point out the fact that this is a mistake on Sheriff Clark's part. And he's not a professional debater. He's not someone that does this on the regular, from what I can tell. He gave his thesis away. And what Don Clark is going to do is he is going to say absolutely nothing of substance. He's going to let the other person make the thesis and then nitpick, or he's just going to straight away try to pick apart at the thesis. The trick with these people is to never give away your thesis. It is to slam them over and over and over again and do not let them breathe. He had him in a new script. And what the sheriff should have done is should have pounded down on that question. Unfortunately, he gave away his thesis, and we'll see how Don Clark uses that to his advantage to never say anything of substance.
With due respect, do you know that this was because of that?
Yes, I do.
As a law enforcement officer?
I've been watching this for 2 years. I predicted this. This anti-police rhetoric sweeping the country has turned out some hateful things inside of people that are now playing themselves out on the American police officer. I want to know, with all of the black-on-black violence in the United States of America, by the way, when the tragedies happened in Louisiana and Minnesota, you know that 21 black people were murdered across the United States? Was there any reporting on that?
There was a black officer who was killed today. But
was there any reporting on that?
Sheriff, please, let's just keep the volume down here.
Sheriff, please, can we keep the volume down? God, what a fucking pussy cunt. First of all, the guy wasn't even shouting. Like, I shout. I shout at people. I know what shouting looks like. This is not the sheriff being too loud. And what this really is him saying, and he'll say this about 10 times over the course of this video, Sheriff, shut the fuck up. Sheriff, you're breaking narrative. Sheriff, you're black and you're not supporting Black Lives Matter. Shut the fuck up. Sheriff, shut the fuck up. You'll see this over and over and over again. And Sheriff brings up a really great point. Black Lives Matter doesn't care about black on black crime. Black Lives Matter does not care about cops, doesn't care about black cops. They don't care about anything other than their narrative. And they only care about getting media attention and feeling special. Because what this is a bunch of fucking racist cunts who hate white people. And the only reason, did Sheriff bring up the fact that the cop that was shot was black? No. Because he's not talking about white cops being shot. He's talking about cops being killed. He's talking about cop killers, not white cops being shot, not black cops being shot. This is race baiting 101.
So I understand, and listen.
I'm looking at 3 dead cops this week,
Sheriff,
and I'm looking at 5 last year. You trying to tell me to keep it down?
If you'll just please, we can keep it civil. So, because the message to people at home, I'm sure you want, is one of civility.
I wish, Don, I wish you had that message of civility.
I would like to have a conversation
toward this
with you.
Hateful ideology, these purveyors of hate.
You don't know what my message is.
That's
what I want to say to you is,
these people preach vile and virtue
we'll be right
in the
back.
name
We're
of
going to go to break,
hate.
and we'll be right back.
Oh my god. Oh my god. He went to commercial break. That's the biggest pussy thing you can do. Holy shit. And just listen. Just listen to it. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, dude. Shut the fuck up. No, I mean, look, Sheriff obviously brings up really, really good points. There are a bunch of cops being killed. CNN isn't saying, fuck cop killers. Right? They're not saying, look, this person was clearly aligned with Black Lives Matter. And they're clearly aligned with racist organizations. They're clearly aligned with the Black Panthers. What they're saying is, not all. TM, dude, fucking not all. They are bringing so much to the conversation. These super biased news sources are just filling our ears with complete horseshit of not all. Which A, brings nothing to the conversation. And B, doesn't address reality. It doesn't... the majority of feminists do not need to be insane for me to say that the feminism has a problem with crazy bitches. Right? I don't need to show that 100% of the people involved in a movement are racist to say the movement has problems with racism. The movement is racist. This is deflection 101, and this is attempting to use any power that this motherfucker has to silence someone with another opinion who is honestly just destroying them.
What it sounds like to me is that you're accusing me of violence and supporting a narrative that I'm not necessarily in support of. And if that's what you're accusing me of violence, then you can leave. That's not true. I don't support violence of any type against police officers, against anyone. So if you're accusing me of that, then you're welcome to leave. But if you want to have a conversation, I am more than willing to welcome a conversation with you.
Don, you piece of shit. No one is saying that you are violent. No one is saying that you are supporting violence, okay? Way to fucking straw man. Way to red herring this argument. And second of all, did you just tell him to leave? Nigga, what? What? You just told him to leave if he didn't want to be like what, civil with you, nice to you, to blow your dick? God, what the fuck? Who the fuck pays you? Who the fuck pays you?
I don't disagree with you about there's a narrative across the country that could be harming police officers, but we don't know right now, as someone who's in law enforcement, if that was the actual cause of it. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Do we know that generally the American law enforcement officers are racist? Do we know this?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Listen to that silence. Listen to the beautiful silence. To answer your question, Sheriff, No, the majority of cops are not racist, and there's no evidence to prove that the majority of them are racist, or that law enforcement as an occupation in any way breeds racism. The answer to that is no. The answer is Black Lives Matter is full of shit.
Go on.
I ask a question.
Do I know American general law enforcement are racist? I don't think anyone is accusing. If you're insinuating that people are accusing or saying that law enforcement across this country as a whole are racist, then your assumption is wrong.
First of all, this whole anti-police rhetoric is based on a lie. There is no data, and you know this. There is no data, there is no research that proves any of that nonsense. None.
You'd have to be more specific about what data and what nonsense you're talking about.
Don. We were just talking about racist cops. And that the fact that racism is not a problem, and you come out with this brilliant, that's not what Black Lives Matter is saying. Ironically, that is exactly what Black Lives Matter is saying, and you were a liar to say that Black Lives Matter is saying otherwise. However, we know, you know exactly what the fuck he's talking about. He was just talking about the fact that there's no data that shows that cops are racist. And he says there's no data for any of this nonsense. We know what the fucking topic of the conversation is right now, you fuck. And he's gonna go fucking tell you, but we know what he's talking about. Stop being such a fucking pussy.
That law enforcement officers treat black males different than white males in policing in these urban centers.
There is data that supports
There is not data.
No. The president spoke about it. Cedric Alexander, who is a law
president has
enforcement
been
officer,
lying about it. He said it again the other day when he said black males are 2 times more likely to be shot by a law enforcement officer than white males. Don, that is a lie.
That is not a lie.
It is a lie.
Yes,
Show me.
The research
Show me.
The research
Show
that
it to me then.
we have from the Washington Post. That
The Washington
facilitated a
Post
study.
debunked
There's
that nonsense.
There's also research.
He also said this
Sheriff,
time.
There's also research.
Now, what you have here in this situation is 2 people not talking about the same thing. Now, unfortunately, Sheriff is not a very good debater, doesn't use his language quite in the specific way he should in sometimes. What he's saying is that, look, cops don't shoot black people for no reason. Cops shoot black people at higher rates, but what he's really saying is they don't do it without reason. And when he says there's no evidence to that, he's saying there's no evidence that it's racism on the part of the cops to go and shoot black people. Unfortunately, the way he words it is there's no evidence that cops are killing black people more. It's not what he means, I don't believe. And Don is right on this. Cops do kill black people more. But what Don is not going to respond. He's not going to respond by saying, no, it happens because crime. Or he's not going to say, no, they do get shot more, but crime. What he's just going to say is, no, you worded that incorrectly. What you meant to say is incorrect. And it's going to cause a bunch of problems down the road.
He continues.
A Harvard professor that also showed that black people are treated more aggressively by police officers.
No, you are wrong
people.
in your interpretation of that Harvard study, because I read the study. That's not what he said. He said he was surprised to find
that in shootings of the most severe in shootings that he found no evidence that there was a difference. Also, it should be noted that that study was a very small sampling of police departments across the country. Many people did not find it credible, but it is also interesting that in that research he found that blacks were treated differently when it came to aggressive policing, but for the most egregious shootings he found no difference. That's what that study showed.
Well,
What? Did he just bring up a study? When the dude refutes it, when the sheriff refutes this study, and Don then finishes his sentence, which fine, we'll assume he's quoting it correctly, and then he then says, yes, it supports what you're saying, Sheriff, but the study was flawed. And then he goes on to try to use it to support his own argument. So he brings it up, and then refutes himself, and then brings it up again as if it's evidence. Holy fucking shit! I've never seen this level of stupid before. Who the fuck pays you, Don? Whoever the fuck pays you should be fucking fired for retardation.
Based on what? Just generally? Are we talking about high crime areas? Are we talking about police officers being under attack? Because let's go back to where this whole thing started in Ferguson, Missouri. The lie was hands up, don't shoot.
You're lumping a whole bunch of things into one. If we can do one specific
That's
thing
where this whole phony movement started. It started out as hands up, don't shoot.
You're talking about Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Okay. So if you want to, you would need to speak to someone who is a member of Black Lives Matter about whether they have perpetrated a fraud on the American people. That's up to Black Lives Matter. That's not me. I'm neither a member of Black Lives Matter, I'm neither a supporter or someone who doesn't support them. I simply report on Black Lives Matter.
Do you condemn the anti-police rhetoric coming from this hateful ideology?
As a journalist sitting here on television, I don't have to condemn anyone, anything. That is something that you should ask.
Don, I have a question for you. Why are you not in politics? Why are you in journalism? Because you just dodged that question better than fucking Hillary Clinton. Answer the fucking question, you cunt.
Well,
Other people around the country,
I condemn
their jobs to condemn
just
that.
like I condemn the hateful ideology out of groups like the KKK. All right? I condemn it. There is no place in American discourse for that sort of vile, vitriolic hate coming out of this ideology. This has fueled and fanned the flames of this anger toward the American police officer. There's only one group in America, one, Don, that truly cares about the lives of black people in these urban ghettos, and it's the American police officer who goes down there on a daily basis, puts their life on the line to protect who? Black people. So when you say we just want to have a conversation, let's have a conversation about the black-on-black crime, which kills more black males, which is more of a threat to any black male in the United States than a law enforcement officer.
Sheriff, yes, that's a different conversation. We can walk and chew gum at the same time.
Sheriff? Shut the fuck up, Sheriff. Oh, by the way, I just want to add, you can walk and chew gum at the same time? Then why can't you have a discussion about Black Lives Matter in the same conversation as black-on-black crime? You fucking hypocritical piece of shit. Fuck you.
There's an issue when it comes to violence. Black-on-black crime, or it's crime. White people kill white people, tend to kill white people. Black people tend to kill black people.
Not in the numbers.
That's fine, but that's a different conversation.
I don't care who white people are killing.
That is a different conversation than police brutality, and we're not having that conversation right now.
Sheriff. Fuck white people. You with me? Fuck them. Fuck white people.
No, it's not that. No, it's not that.
Well, you know, can you just shut the fuck up then? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, Sheriff. Shut the fuck up.
And again, I want to be very clear with you. I condemn all violence of any type, just for the record.
Oh, Virtue, where are you?
It's a situation between Mike Brown and Darren Wilson. Was that police brutality?
But we're not talking about Mike Brown
or
and
no?
Darren Wilson.
I am.
No, if you're asking me what the Justice Department showed, the Justice Department showed that it exonerated Officer Darren Wilson, and that the hands up, don't shoot narrative was a false narrative. That has been reported by CNN and by others.
That was another phony report.
What does that have to do with Baton Rouge, Louisiana?
All right, because when you take in
what does that have to do with Baton Rouge, Louisiana?
Rates of involvement in violent crime, and crime in general, but violent crime, you're going to see that black males are overrepresented. Overrepresented in terms of being involved in violent crime. That's going to mean more arrests. That's going to mean more people going to prison. This stuff has already been debunked.
Did anybody else catch that? Or is that just me? Because I saw Don look right at a director or some kind of producer and just the most pleading, like, just get me out of here. Why did you do this to me? And you're just a pussy, right? He's just a complete pussy. That was actually, like, probably the funniest thing I've seen on this video. And once again, we're going to hear this. We're going to hear the, just shut the fuck up.
That's a different conversation.
Every
One that
time,
many people
every
don't,
time
and one that
you
many-
don't have a response to something I say, you say
it's not that I don't have a response to you. Is that we're having two different conversations. I'm asking the questions here. You're answering the questions by asking questions about some other subject that we're not discussing.
I'm asking the questions here? What the fuck? Is this like some kind of spy movie, some CIA movie? He's a fucking cop. He'll do whatever the fuck he wants. He's a sheriff. Go fuck yourself. And once again, just shut the fuck up, sheriff. Our narrative.
We're talking
is
about
not a
this
conversation.
hateful ideology called Black Lives Matter. You said you're not a member. You can't be a member. It's not an organization.
There's
no structure.
That's what you're talking about. Listen, I understand that you're very. I understand it's a very stressful time for you.
I understand it's a stressful time for you? Who the fuck is this man you're talking to, Don? Is he a woman in a corset who can barely breathe from the 1800s? Or is he a fucking man? God, you are such a cunt. What a red herring. What a disgusting way to put down another person's argument and who they are. Go fuck yourself. Shame on you.
These individuals,
and Sheriff, we appreciate you coming on.
they preach vile and vitriol in the name of virtue.
Oh my god, I caught it. He did it again. Look at him. Look at his fucking face. Oh man, that's funny. Alright, well that's all time we have today, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed. And just, please, tweet this guy. I don't know what the fuck. Don't harass him, but just shame. Just tweet him 3 words. Shame, shame, shame.